Okay, today we'll discuss about multikv command in Splunk. Okay, now multikv command is a very interesting command in Splunk where it comes into picture where you have events in tabular format, like you are basically indexing a table as an index. Now in real world scenario, this could be like those table comes from the Linux command output, right? Something like this. So basically, this is a netstat command output, and it gives a tabular format data, right? And it may happen that we are indexing this data for some kind of analytics purpose, right? Now, now if we just index this kind of data, so I have also created a similar kind of data here with the CPU number and the percentage user system and IO weight and PCT idle time. Okay, so now there are two events over here, and I have indexed as a two separate events here. Now how you do it? Basically, you need to give the line breaker here, where I have given PCT idle here as a line breaker, right? So that it treats as a separate event. Now when you access that event, Splunk do not create any kind of new fields basically from this fields, right? Now the intention behind using this multikv command is to extract fields from this kind of data, this kind of event data. Okay, so that it creates separate field called CPU PCT user like this. Okay, and then we can use those fields for other purpose down the line. Now, so as I told you, I just have this event, like now if I just run a multi-kv command here, okay, so what it does, if you see here, it creates different field names here, like, and how it creates, let us talk about that. So basically the logic behind its working is, so it basically treats the first row as a header. Okay, now it basically uh, tokenize or split the header based on some delimiter, right? Here my delimiter is space, and creates those new fields. Okay, and then it processes the other rows accordingly and assign those values to this newly created fields. That's why if you see for CPU, right, I have two distinct values, 0 and 1, like this. Okay, similarly for PCT user and other fields. Okay, now there are certain inputs to this command as well, which we'll discuss one by one. One of this input is copy attribute. Okay, now copy attribute can be true or false. By default it's true. Okay, by default it's true. That means whenever it basically what it is doing, multi-kv, it's basically splitting a single event, right? A single event with multiple events. So that means if I talk about this event, it creates 4 events out of it, right? And each and every event also have their own underscore time and host source type values, right? So if I just remove this, okay, so each and every have event have their own underscore time and these values. Now what copy attributes true is saying, whenever it creates a new event, it also copies this other values belongs to the original event, like underscore time, host source type, the newly created event as well. If it is false, it don't copy it. Okay, now let's see, if I make it false, what is happening. Okay, if you see, Splunk is not giving me anything. Why? Because those underscore time, the host source type values did not came with the newly created time, newly created events, right? Now as the newly created events do not have that underscore time field, so it is Splunk is not able to display it. That's why it is not giving me anything over here. Okay, now let's move on. Let's talk about other inputs. So another input is fields. Now it is very easy to understand. So let us go back to our multi-kv output. And if I fields command means you can restrict the number of newly created fields generated. That means if I just give fields, okay, if I elds fields only CPU and pct idle. So, okay, so it will only extract those two fields, it will ignore the other two fields. Okay, really easy. Now let's talk about filter. As the name suggests, so filter is basically filtering the data, right? Now in the filter you can give like multiple strings, and those strings can have special characters like space or underscore in there. Okay, so it basically filters the events based on the filter condition. It's very low level filter, but still you can use it for your own purpose. Suppose I'm giving filter 70 to 82, so that means each and every event where either we have 72 or 82, it will only return those events. Okay, rest of the events it will not return. Okay, so let's move on for force header. Now force header means, suppose this requires when you want to tell multikv, consider this line as my header. Okay, so suppose I have this file, right? I have this event, I have indexed to Splunk. If I say force header of second row, what will happen? It will create these fields as these names and these names. That means the second one, second line after coming after from of the event basically. So if I say force header equals to 2, okay, so what is happening? If you see at the left hand side interesting field, it created those field names 0 1 6 32 42 62. How it is getting? From the first event it is taking the second row, from the second event also it is getting the second row. That's why it is creating field with these names. Okay, it is ignoring other rows, it is ignoring this, is ignoring this one as well. Okay, so it is as a event it is creating only this and this record. That's why total my event is 6. Okay, even though I have 8 records here. Okay, this is how force header works. Let's move on. Let's talk about no header. Suppose your event do not have any header. Okay, your event do not, you have just index these values. In that case you can tell multikv I do not have any header. In that case what is happening is multikv creates the field name like column underscore 1 column underscore 2 something like this. So let's, if I apply something like this similar here, so what will happen? It will consider cpu this one as well as my data value, right? So if I say no header, no header equals to true, right? So what is happening is, see, if you see now it is creating if event with this header as well, because it is considering this one as my data value, right? And the field name it is creating as column 1 underscore 1 column 2 underscore 2 something like column underscore 2 something like this. So this will be my first column data, second column, third column, fourth column, something like this. Okay, now let's move on to remove original. Okay, so now let's say remove original equals to false. So by default it's true. Let's say when I say false, what is happening? If you see, it not only creates the new events, it also keep the existing event as well. Okay, this is the functionality of remove original. So by default it's true, that means by default it's remove the existing event, it's only give you the newly created events, but you can do this one as well to keep the existing event. Okay, now let us talk about some more advanced concept in multi-kv. Now now it may happen that let's see our data first here. Okay, so whatever we have created the initial data, we have very fixed format, right? My headers are also space delimited, my data is also space delimited, so that's why it is very easy for multikv command to split the headers, split the rows, create the new field, something like that, right? Now it may happen that my table data is something different fully, right? Something like this, my headers are space delimited but my data are tab delimited. Okay, let us, I have also indexed this data in another source type. Let me show you custom demo. Okay, so if you see, my headers are space delimited, my events are, my data are tab delimited. So if I apply multi-kv here, multikv. So what is happening? If you see, multikv is failing over here. It is not able to properly tokenize that, right? Now we need to fix this. So there is a concept of multikv where whenever you have this kind of very custom scenario, I think this similar problem has been posted in Splunk answer as well. So I have given an answer for that here. Okay, so similar thing we'll be discussing today as well. So this guy also have the similar problem where his headers are space delimited and these data are tab delimited. Okay, so now to fix this, basically what we need to do, we need to tell multikv that this is my data and you need to process it something like this. So basically we need to customize its behavior. To do that, what we need to do, we need to create a conf file. Okay, that's called multikv.conf file, and we need to keep that conf file in our system local folder. We'll see how it works. Before that, let us see the documentation for multikv.conf file. Okay, so now if you read about the documentation, it has four portions. Basically you can customize. One is pre, header, body and post. What does that means? To understand that, let us take an example first. Okay, I think there is an example here, so I'll copy this guy here in my notepad. Okay, so now whenever I run some Linux command, right, so it gives me this kind of this thing as well, right? This is I think related to some process related data. Now it also give this one, and this could be part of our event as well, right? Now this is called pre portion. Okay, where before my table start, whatever comes, this is called the pre portion. Okay, we may choose to ignore this fully, or we may could process this, keep it as a string. Okay, this up to us. We'll see how to fix that. This is my table portion, right? And after that, again, whenever my next event comes up, this is getting repeated, right? This is getting repeated. So this is my post portion, another event, right? So, and inside this table portion, this is my header portion and this is my body portion. So if I map these four things here, right? Pre means this portion before this table, header means this portion only, right? Header of the table. Body means this one, and the post means the next till whatever is there till next event. Okay, so now for each and every section you can do a lot of stuff, like you can define a regex where the section start. You can define a different processing thing, like either you can choose to directly fully ignore the section or replace some values with some other values. Okay, you can tokenize it, you can chop it. Like tokenize means you can for header, let's say it is tokenizing is important because you need to create fields, right? So here you basically defines what will be my delimiters for tokenizing these header values. Similarly for body as well. Okay, similarly for body as well, right? Now token and the tokenizer you can use is this one, token list, and then the comma separated list. We'll see how to do that. And here is an example, like to process this kind of data. So what they have done is pre means this one, my pre dot start they have defined as process, that means this string. So this is my start, and pre ending is where my event is basically starting the table, right? PID. So here till this point it will considered as a pre, right? Now it is saying pre dot ignore all, that means we are not going to consider anything over here. Okay, now for my header is starting at PID, and then line count is 1, that means I'm saying only this line I have header. If your header is belonging to multiple lines, you can give that one as well here. Now header dot replace this percentage with underscore and this hash with underscore as well. If you see, it will replace this percentage and hash values with underscore, and then it will tokenize basically header. So what tokenizer is working, so this is the format of tokenizer. You need to give this tokenizer name as underscore tokenize underscore. And what does this -1 signifies here? if I go back over here in the tokenizer portion, if you see -1 for complete tokenization, 0 for inherit from the previous section. Generally, if in your header, if you have given any tokenization, you can give 0 to make it at the same at the body level as well. Okay, if you see here, for the header it has given -1, that means full tokenizing, right? Full tokenizing of this line, and the tokenizing delimiter will be space. Now when it comes to body, the body ending as the process, right? Because from here till the next event, if I go back to our notepad, from here till the next event is my body, right? So body end there, and body tokens is our similar tokenizer, but our I have given 0 over here. That means previous section is header. Whatever tokenizer I have given over here, it will inherit that one. Okay. Either it's full or -1 means full tokenizing of this line. So it will inherit that one, and the delimiter will be space. Similarly, now let's talk about whatever data I have it here, right? So I do not have any pre-section, right? So our so similarly, what we have to do, so if I create this one, I can give any name. Let's say tab underscore mkv. Okay, so basically this is how you create a conf file, right? You have to give a stanza name here, then key value pairs. Now for me, there is no pre portion, so I'll not give anything pre here. For me, the header dot start will be what? CPU, right? Correct. Now header dot line count, I have it 1 as well because I have my header in single line. Okay. Now header dot replace, I do not need to do anything because I do not have any special character over there in my data. Okay, so I'll not needed that. Now header dot tokens will be this one. Okay, and this is full tokenizing, and it is space as well. My headers are space delimited. Now let us go back to our body. Now body dot tokens will be, we have to do that. Now body dot tokens will be how? What is that? Now body, this tokenizer will be again full tokenizer. I cannot inherit that, but this time this will be tab because my bodies are tab delimited here, right? Tab delimited. So this is why it is changing basically. Okay, so this will be my multikv dot conf file. So I have created that conf file, similar conf file here as well previously. So let me show you the same thing here. I have written over there. Okay, so header start, header line count, tokens, and my body tokens, right? But the tokenizing will be different for header and body. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll copy this file. Okay, and then I'll go back to my Splunk home. Okay, then I'll go to etc, and I'll go to system, then I'll go to local folder. Okay, and I'll paste this file over here. Okay, and I will restart Splunk. Go to settings, server control, restart Splunk. Okay, so after restart Splunk, now we will see like how we can use that particular configuration we have done in multikv. Okay, now multikv have another input called conf file. So there basically you can give the conf file stanza name, whatever I have written it over here, right? This is the stanza name we have created, tab underscore mkv, right? This stanza we can use it there. Let's see if it is working or not. So I'll be logging in there. I'll go to my search and reporting. I'll go back to my data set first. Index equals to main, and my source type is custom demo, right? This is my data. So if I say multikv, okay, then conf is another input, right? This is the asking for the stanza name. My stanza name is tab underscore mkv. Okay, for all time. I'll define now. If you see, it is properly extracting my fields here. Okay, based on that customized multi-kb options I have given over there. Okay, so this is how it works. Like if you have any kind of table which is basically having some other type of formatting, you can define that formatting in your multikv.conf file and keep it there. Okay, you can have multiple configurations for different kinds of data you have, and properly in your multikv command you can call them particular stanza and generate the different uh, and extract that fields basically. Okay, so this is a very brief discussion about multi-kb command and different use cases I can think of. Hopefully it will be helpful for you guys. See you in next video.